Jesus greeting!
First door on the Advent calendar.
Jesus greeting!
First door on
Guess
the
who's
Advent...
coming to town?
Put your nasty sweater on, baby. We got a party to hit. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Well, now the season's getting started. You're bringing a bit of Christmas cheer now. Feels like we're all in a winter wonderland. Ho, 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 ho. Now Krampus is the one who better watch out. Come out to the workshop. We'll get together. Have a few laughs. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. My sleigh has never been so full. It's starting to feel a bit like Christmas. Feel the power of Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight for Man-O-Rama episode 5.
Welcome to episode number 5. As the title says, it's all about James Cameron. I am with an awesome panel with Gringo Brandino, JRC, Jeff, and the GOAT, and I think Andy might stop by later. I don't know. But how you guys doing? How was your week? Anything interesting, fun, entertaining? Anybody? Going once? Going twice?
Well, I saw the trailer for Avatar 2.
You did?
Yeah. It looked
The
amazing.
The Smurfs.
Yeah, Dancing with Smurfs too. I love it.
Yeah, with Pocahontas.
Yeah.
I if you take Pocahontas and Avatar script together, back to back, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's literally the same fucking story.
What about the first book of Dune?
Yeah, that too.
And apparently they're coming out with a new Three Musketeers movie with Ava Green.
Huh?
Yeah.
I
saw a trailer all in French.
How many takes have they done with that? Like 20,000?
And they got it so right in the 70s with Michael York.
Yeah, they did.
And wasn't Michael York in Romeo and Juliet as well?
I
Was
think
that
so,
him?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to go around the table and ask what your Christmas movie of the week is. Gringo Brandino, what would be your Christmas movie of the week?
Christmas Story.
Ooh.
Every time, that's one of those Christmas movies where it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it, if it's on flipping through channels, I'll just leave it on and start watching it.
Nice. Did you watch the sequel, the one that just came out?
I can't get myself to watching it because I don't want to ruin the original.
From what Gary had told me, he watched it. I haven't watched it yet. He said it's actually a really good continuation. He said it's not as amazing as the first one, but it's a good kind of closing of everything. It ties up a lot of things. So I'm going to see it based off of that. He said he enjoyed some of it, so I was very skeptical, but I enjoy Christmas movie up until halfway, and I get so bored. I think until I'm a dad, then I'll relate to it a little bit better. But JRC, what would be your Christmas movie of the week?
Well, if I had to choose one, actually, it was just I just recently watched it.
Excellent choice, JRC.
Thank you. Yes. Is Scrooge. The 1970s. Oh, are you doing that to me too? No, it was
I think
Scrooge,
that's Tony Stark's favorite movie as well.
Yeah. It's...
JRC, you're still muted, buddy.
I'm still muted.
You're not.
He's
I
just
know,
screwing
I
at you,
know.
dude.
Okay, so anyway.
Okay, then I can't hear anybody, so I don't know what's on my end.
Anyway, so okay, no, I'm kidding. I gotcha. So anyway, yeah, Scrooge with Albert Finney, 1970. I was actually just watching it today. Really, a lot of fun. Really good musical scores and everything like that. And seeing a young Albert Finney portray an old man is always kind of a treat to see.
Yeah, I like that one. It's a good one. Jeff, what would be your Christmas movie pick of the week?
I'm going to cheat a little and go with a TV show.
Ooh.
That's Charlie Brown Christmas. Because for me, it doesn't start until I start playing.
Ooh, I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
So
my goodness.
Once this gets put on and the music starts, it's Christmas time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh, even just the soundtrack alone.
Yeah, just a masterpiece. I love it.
Absolutely.
That is cool. I thought you were gonna pick Santa Clauses for a second there because you were like TV. That's like the most recent one. I was like, no. But the goat. Do you have any Christmas TV or Christmas show? We could do that. We can add a Christmas show in. No biggie.
You know what? I'm trying to remember because I want to watch this again. Wasn't Gremlins technically a Christmas movie, or am I remembering incorrectly?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, then I choose that.
Nice.
I'm everywhere today, busy. So it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw a dart on the wall and hope it sticks.
Cool. So my Christmas movie of the week is not your typical Christmas movie per se, but it stars the great Mel Gibson. It'd be The Fat Man. It's Tim Allen was probably the best Santa Claus in almost 20 years, maybe close to a little over 20 years or something like that. I love Santa Claus. I adore Tim Allen and what he does. But when I saw Fat Man, I knew Mel Gibson just owned the shit out of Santa Claus. And it's not your... I like the fact that they made an ultra graphic, violent Santa where he just beats the ever-living crap out of people. It's good. And now I gotta go see Violent Night because I heard that's a really good movie and it's by a really good director I like. So that's my pick of it. It's in my top top 5 Christmas movies of all time. I really enjoy Fat Man. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend going see it. It is definitely not your type of. You have to be in a very action, dark humor mood, but it's definitely up there as a good dark comedy Santa movie. And on that note, I think we should actually do more reviews of like different months. Like February, we'll do romantic movies or something. I don't know. We'll find something. July. There's enough 4th of July movies out there that we can do.
Did you just say we're gonna review romantic movies on the Man Show?
Yeah, like Braveheart, Die Hard.
Or are we going to review? Are we going to review Bros?
I
mean, it is a man.
That would. So here's the thing. Before we get to the beta tweets, So Gary and I went to see. Oh man, what movie did we see? It was one. I think it was Lost Boys, and they had Bros up on the little thing of like showing at what time. And we took a picture. There's a picture of us right where Bros is right above us. And we never posted it because we were like, we'll try to go back to it. But we might bring that back up. I might post that picture. It's pretty funny. I don't know, man. If we review Bros, that could be just a roast review.
What about spoiler alert? We could give it like how many out of 5 butt babies do you give it as a review?
Okay, all right. I have to get to something here. Here's a little. Usually, I don't want to talk about movies on the show, but let's get this out of the way here. All right. When you come up with a movie title for a movie, you usually want to have it where it's all fun, right? Like Braveheart, Gladiator. Like I'm gonna go see this movie. I'm gonna watch the shit out of it. Okay. When you come out with a movie called Nope, or a movie called Spoiler Alert, it kind of makes it where it's like, spoiler alert, that's the title of it. It's the trailer just spoiled it for me. And then Nope. When I first saw the trailer, all I could think of was Nope, not going to see this movie. And I didn't know what it was called. And I would always sometimes I'll tell people if they ask me, hey, can you do this? I'm like, nope. But I'll still do it. It's just a little humor joke for me. But yeah, like don't name a title that makes it want to not see it. So, but let's get into the tweets. Our favorite topic of, I don't know if it's the favorite for you guys, but it is my favorite thing because it starts off the show with a little humor of what not to do. All right. So here is. Oh, that was last week. That tweet was last week.
Oh, did I put up the wrong one? One sec.
I might have mixed it in with this
You
week's.
may have. I thought something was a
Yeah,
little
because
off.
that was the Alyssa Milano one. God, dude, that guy's still a creep.
Okay, give me just a few seconds to adjust it live here.
All right, here's one.
And here we are.
All right, so I think I have pieced this one together. All right. So, yeah, here it is. And whatever this chick is, I'm guessing it is Twitter. It's Twitch. That's what it is. So, live, almost at 1 million followers. How about that, y'all? All right. That's pretty impressive. If you can get 1 million followers, cool. That's
You
pretty
got 1 million
ridiculous.
followers on Man-O-Rama tonight?
Dude, I wish, man. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll own it.
Oh,
So,
God.
whatever
About time.
whatever Stalin grad looking guy with the Christmas hat, he says today's the day. You can do it, Queen. Slay! Exclamation point. The guy right here, I'll buy this guy a beer. Simp. Then it's the guy that down here, he comments, he goes, because of trolls like you, she lost a bunch of followers. She might not hit 1 million today. Shame on you. Alright there, Stalin wannabe hipster. No one gives a care. Like, this guy. No one cares. Like, what do you guys think of this?
Oh, I got something just for this.
All right.
Okay, that's going to be a ringtone for me from now on.
I could
Yes.
send that to you later on if you want.
Yeah, if you
It's
want, yeah.
all yours. I used to use that for my own ringtone. Anyway.
Oh, I got some shipmates I got to use that for whenever they give me a call.
Oh man, I don't get why people have to virtue signal and be the megaphone for people on Twitter and be like, because of you and your trolling. He wasn't trolling the chick. He was pretty much calling this guy a simp, which he is. It's today when you. All right, would you ever call a woman queen? Just randomly. Would you guys ever do that?
If her name
My
was
wife-
Caitlyn.
Hell no.
Mm-mm.
I don't get beta clause here. Why? She's at almost 1 million. Like, his one thing is going to push her over that magic hump. Like, come on, dude. Really? You're getting 1 quote or 2 retweets, 5 hearts. You ain't doing jack shit to bump her over that 1 million.
He thinks he's the one more of the 999,000.
I don't even know who she is. I'm guessing it's a public figure because I see her linked to her Twitch TV. So she must be somebody that's extremely relevant.
Yeah,
Besides just broadcasting in a bikini and a hot tub.
Like, here's the thing. If people want to say, like, we're almost to 1 million followers, congratulations. You should celebrate for that. You've hit that's a big mile mark. Like, there's not many people that could do that. But it's
I've been on YouTube for 15 years, and I finally hit the 160 subscriber mark. So,
woohoo.
yeah.
Welcome to my high club, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next tweet.
Very well, sir. Give me a
And
moment.
when we get to that, I feel like a newscast from CNN. Not really.
No, you have more viewers than that.
Fake news.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. We probably have more than I do, but yeah.
Yeah.
Don Lemon. He'd be fun to be on the show.
Oh, real quick, speaking of ringtones, I'll have to tell you the story of how I got fired from one of my jobs for a ringtone that was apparently homophobic. So that's a story for another time. You probably enjoy it.
All right,
So-
here we go.
Here it is. This was fun. A boy asked me for my number today, and when I told him I was in a relationship, he told me to tell my boyfriend that he's very lucky to be with me, and then he paid for my coffee and left. I'm shocked by the respect. And this dude here goes, that's how men should act. All right. No. If any, let's say we were all single and we were hitting on a chick at a club, coffee shop, whatever. I don't know. You pick your destination. And she says, I have a boyfriend. Sometimes she could be saying the truth. Sometimes she could be lying. You got a 50-50 shot at that. But always just go, you know what? She probably has a boyfriend. Just leave it alone. Walk away. Don't ever buy that chick a drink. You're not obligated to. You don't. And that's not how men act. We just walk away. Because it's like, we don't know if you have a boyfriend. We don't know. He could be like 6'8" linebacker. Like, no, I ain't gonna mess with that. I could put me through the wall.
Well, I'll admit something. I've eaten at Hooters before, and I've gotten the same thing too. So,
You're like, ma'am, I have a boyfriend. Just
or are those the veggie wings? Who got the veggie wings?
I gotta say
Sorry.
something. I don't understand what it is about the Hooters and whoever they hired to build their tables, but there's like none of their tables are level. Almost every time I've gone to eat at a Hooters, either a fork or a knife or any piece of silverware just slides right off the table onto the floor in just the right spot where the waitress has to bend over and pick it up frequently. Very bizarre. I don't know why they can't get tables level at Hooters.
get onto that. Do they still have Hooters?
Yeah, there are still some.
Okay.
I have that problem at a Tilted Kilt.
It was one time I was on leave and I went to my friend invited me out to Hooters and we went there and he tried to hook me up with one of the waitresses and she gave me the double whammy. She said first she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I've been with my boyfriend for 8 months and I'm pregnant." And I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, well, you look great for pregnant, you know." So I was like, "Okay."
Did you ask if it was his?
Oh man, that was a great idea. Okay, hang on. I got to go back in time. I'll be right back.
That's an honest question.
Yeah, nah.
That would have been my first question.
Yeah.
As far as that tweet, though, man, you just tip your cap, say good day, and go on your way.
Yeah, at least I'll give the guy right up until he bought the coffee drink or whatever it was. It's at least he's being respectful because there's a lot of guys that don't. They're like, oh, whatever, ha ha ha. But a real man, he's just gonna be like, I'll just step back. You never know. Like I had a friend. She would always get hit on. She was actually engaged, and the guy was in the military, and he would always wait. They would do this. They would start messing with every single guy in a bar, and he would come in, and he's like probably 5'9", but just jacked, and it was entertaining. So I was on the sideline just watching it. I was like, I like watching this, but
You said military and 5'9" at the same time, and first thing I thought of was Full Metal Jacket.
Ooh, there you go.
It's-
Years and queers.
Yeah. I bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. That's one of the greatest lines ever.
Oh man, I love that movie so much.
I always tell everybody, if you ever watch Full Metal Jacket, you just have to watch the boot camp scene. You could watch the rest of the movie, but it's just watching boot camp scene. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to the next Tweetorama. Ooh, I like that sound of a ringtone.
Tweetorama, huh?
Yeah.
Can I say my manly voice? Tweetorama.
All right, Sam Elliott.
Sorry.
I'm jealous of that guy's voice. You know, that's a man's voice.
Oh yeah.
Man, this
Just
one
watch
doesn't wanna
Tombstone
get on the
again.
screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As the tweet's coming up, speaking of ringtones, Gary has a really funny ringtone from, I forget what it's called, but it's a Mel Brooks movie, and it's right when the ringtone happens, he's like, move that miserable piece of shit. I get a kick out. I think it's like, what, Life of Brian? No, World History. All right, so this one, this one is good. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
this one, oh my gosh. This was a jackpot. I put this on my Instagram, but since you don't have Instagram, here you go. I have no idea what that means, but okay. OMG, how are you so perfect, goddess? Please let me send to you, okay, any amount, how much I want to spoil. And she says I'm cool with the usual. $1,000. Okay, this, I think the guy got baited into a spam. I think that's what it was. But you don't.
See, honestly, I can't tell who's actually being authentic here on either end. Either the Instagram gal or the guy who sent $1,000. I don't know who's real.
It reminds me of the guy that sent what's her face $70,000. Have you guys seen that video around?
Oh god, I saw that. Please tell me that's like a thing like made up and not legit.
No, that's a legit thing. I looked into it. She actually got $70,000 and a new iPhone. I'm like, dude.
Oh my god.
If I take my shirt off, I'm not going to get $70,000. I'm going to get a cease and desist order.
Yeah,
and that's just from us on the panel.
Here's an interesting fact though. The gal who is that, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Amaranth.
That's who it is.
Yeah, she was the one that you remember after the infamous Frost Karen rant on the new G4, the now defunct G4. They used her as she was the bikini girl in the ball pit that they used.
And
so yeah,
I think in French, her name is pronounced "whore." The W is silent. But I'm not fluent, so don't quote me on that.
And I'm glad I swallowed my coffee before you said that.
I think I mentioned this on the show before. You know, the video game world, it's very male dominant. It's very there's no being sexist or any of that stuff, misogynist. It's none of that. It's just a proven fact that men tend to be a little bit more better at video games. I know a lot of women who are really good at video games. In fact, better than me.
Men are more interested in video games, similar to like comic books for decades and decades. It just was,
yeah. So I'm always like, I'm against OnlyFans, but I mean, if you want to find an edge to get money playing video games or whatever on Twitch or whatever, I mean, putting a bikini on and being in a hot tub, if that's going to make you money and, good for you. You found a way around the whole playing against guys.
Oh, no.
And then...
I love a crowd.
Sorry, was my camera on?
Yeah, but it's like, I just... Sending $1,000 Apple Pay to someone that could be a scam. It could just be a guy that is portraying like a woman online. There's a lot of that. And it's... Yeah, so that one, I think it's a fault on both sides. Andy, what do you think of this tweet?
Welcome to the show, Andy.
Andy.
Well, there's so many examples of like the chick that was selling her bathwater last year.
I'll start from that.
The other girl who was selling her jarred farts until she found that she was making herself sick with her high broccoli diet. And so now she's gone to selling her boob sweat. Look, the porn industry has always been a multi-million-dollar business because what it really comes down to is that it's the fantasy. It's a fantasy aspect that a lot of lonely men have, or even men who may have a relationship, but it's unfulfilling, and they don't have any other way to sort of escape that kind of thing. So I think it's sad that people are looking at this as an acceptable alternative to a real life kind of thing. And I was just watching this thing where this chick was talking about how everything is about the male gaze and stuff like that. And usually women that say this have a Facebook page where they've got one picture there of a bunch of firemen with no shirts on. So they're hypocrites, and they act like women don't like to look at good-looking, in-shape men, and they'll complain that men have these incredibly high standards, which is a bunch of crap. Because any guy who's ever been married and has kids, you find very quickly that pregnancy does a lot of things to a woman's body, and they're not favorable. There are stretch marks, there are sags, there are pains, there is the the frequency they need to pee that increases exponentially. But trade-off is you get this great little thing that's yours. It's like you get this kid that's yours. And so men learn to kind of be, I mean, you think about this, like, what kind of an asshole would you be if like your wife went through all this to give you this kid, and then you turn around and say, honey, it's just I just identify as somebody who only finds like 19-year-old redheads attractive. And you'd be like an asshole, right? So this is sort of the thing. So when you see these tweets and stuff like that, these are guys that are trying to take the quick and easy way out. They think that they're going to find something fulfilling, and these women think they're going to find something fulfilling. At the end of the day, you're going to get to this point where the dopamine hits stop. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to say, what have you contributed to the world? And I pulled methane from my butt. I put video out there of me doing all kinds of skanky stuff. And then you're going to have kids someday. And then your kid's going to go to school and like, hey, dude, I saw your mom's tits. Like, and that's going to make your kid feel real good. But nobody stops to think about the long-term consequences of this stuff. And
when they're a grandmother.
Yeah.
Oof.
Grandma, I didn't know you had a freckle on your left nipple.
Look at Madonna. Look at Madonna. Like, what's she going to say to her grandkids? Like, oh, look, this is from Nanny's slutty phase that lasted for about 30 years.
I don't want to look at Madonna. I really don't want to look at Madonna anymore.
That's why I'm not posting that picture on this show.
Thank you.
Well, think about that. It's like, you're, and then what do you have to look forward? And this is the problem that I have with these people, that they don't realize the damage that they're doing. They're putting all this emphasis on their physical body and their attraction. Sooner or later, that stuff stops. Even if you're a person who can be a Sean Connery or a Raquel Welch who looks great into their 60s. If you put all that value into your looks, what if you're in a car accident and you get a scar on your face? What's your reason for living? If you're when some of you guys get old enough to go to your 20th high school reunion, and you go there and you look around, you know who you're not going to see? You're not going to see
people that got a certain injection over the last couple of years.
Well, the people that peaked in high school, that were the beautiful quarterback and the cheerleader and stuff like that, because they don't want to go there and let people see that they're past their peak, like that they declined, and oh, they're going to judge me. Like, the only person judging them is themselves, but they're embarrassed to go because they don't look as good as they used to. I've had I've gone to some reunions and people say oh my God, you look so good. No, I don't. It's just that everybody else didn't have a job that and didn't put it as a priority to stay in shape and things like that. So as a result, you're they put on about 30, 40 pounds, and you win by default. But you can't sit there and judge yourself by 30 years ago standards. That's stupid. The point is, I don't want people to say that, oh, that person there, what did they contribute to the world? Well, they put some pretty pictures on the internet once. Big deal. Have you helped somebody? Is there somebody out there that that you've left a lasting impression on in a good way? Is there something more meaningful in your life? Absolutely. And that's what it comes down to, is so when you have all these people out there, somebody's going to say to these guys, What'd you do with your money? Oh, I sent it to a Twitch streamer so she could buy herself, something else really expensive and go have sex with her boyfriend.
Yeah,
Like,
treat her boyfriend out to a really nice dinner.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's the
So-
worst example of like it's what it's like. It's like going to a really nice restaurant and having them pull out a great big 2-inch fillet so you can look at it and then let somebody else eat it.
That's
Well,
wrong.
most of these girls, you're gonna know if they like their 2-inch fillet eaten because if you pay $5 a month, your question will be answered. And
Well-
I think that there is some bright sides to this because, for the single fathers out there, if they go to the assemblies or they go to the school functions, you can kind of see, which ones have the red flags and which ones don't. If you're looking to start a Brady Bunch family, mixed family,
Well,
So-
I tell
I
you,
don't think it's all negative.
this is probably going to insult a handful of people, but I love
Only a
going
handful. I'm disappointed.
I love going to my son's school's functions because, especially when the parents and kids are there, because I point out the girls' moms that are hot still and point my son, go, hey, look, she's going to, like, your classmate's probably going to be hot for many, many years. So get on her good side. Start doing that man thing already with, getting her attention. And he always looks and laughs at me like, Dad, but putting it in here.
Well, Andy mentioned something pretty interesting about what high school reunions and like the quarterbacks and everyone who was like hot in high school and all that. Like I was just butt ass ugly. I was a redneck style, long sleeve, like a shirt that looked like a long sleeve shirt, but it is a t-shirt. And then I grew up out of like just being more like, all right, I got my look. I'm bald headed. I'll work with it. If Jason Statham could do it, I could do it too. And I had the beard going, and like I look back at all the people I knew in high school, man, like all the guys who just got all the girls who got all of the guys, like, oof, they hit a corner like not even looking, bam. But when you said high school reunion, I just realized I'm home. I was homeschooled, so the only people in my high school reunion is my brother and my mom. I would always say like, for everyone's like, oh, we're going to the prom, all this stuff, and I would always joke around. I was like, well, for my prom, I would be the homecoming king and queen. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I was homeschooled, man. There's only me. That's it.
I think you just made a deep South joke.
I did.
Yeah. Indirectly.
But let's
What you were saying, Steve, is you were related to everybody you went to high school with?
That's exactly where I'm
dude, yeah, I was. That's only a redneck joke that like only rednecks would get. Like if I said that now, like people in California, like they wouldn't get it. They're like, what are you talking about, bro? Like what? I'm like, no, I was homeschooled with my family. We all picket fence and everything.
No, being in California, they'd be like, is there a flag for that?
In California, they'd be like, oh, family, that's just a societal barrier. We're all family. Brothers, sisters, non-binary, unicorns, butterflies. It doesn't we're all a letter of the alphabet.
Waffles.
Yeah,
Apples
it
and
was
oranges.
but
we're all a family and we're all related, but everybody's got a cousin Eddie.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Well, here's
Dogs and
okay.
cats sleeping together.
A butt
So-
baby is just as much of a family as a regular baby.
Dude, a butt baby is just taking a turd. That's all it is. But I'll tell right before we get to the next tweet, I'll tell this story about high school. So I asked this girl who I liked, and no one was going to take her to homecoming. And I didn't even know what a homecoming was. Granted, I'm homeschooled, so I don't know. And I asked her, she's like, okay, I'll go. And I really liked her, and clearly she turned me down months later. But as we get there, I'm not kidding you. The second we got in there, she just took a beeline and hung out with her friend. I didn't know anybody at this school. I'm like, this is weird. I don't know anything. I'm just standing there, all just like, yay, this sucks, and I look like a doofus. I look like Goofy. Yuck, hell yuck, hell yuck. All right, let's get into the next tweet and all that shenanigans. All right, okay, this is, yes, I love this. All right, everyone knows who. Wait, I think we did this one last week. We did.
Give me 1 second. I'm getting rid of
Yeah.
some spam bot real quick. Change
I
that back
might
to where
have.
anybody can speak.
I think
Yeah,
you emailed that one to me.
Oh, Melissa Long.
We discussed Alyssa
How's her
Milano last
Nazi
week?
car? What?
We discussed this lady last week.
Yeah. We talked
I
about
don't
her.
remember doing the Balenciaga one. Isn't this the new one? Because this is from the
We did
third.
Balenciaga.
I think
Hey,
this
look.
is new. I don't recall this.
Yeah, this is a new one.
All right, we'll talk about this one then. So my thoughts on, yes, it is, because we did. I think we talked about the Nazi car. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the show gets banned.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm a classic Volkswagen guy. My dream car is a 1963
Ooh.
Herbie.
That
So-
explains everything about. I'm just kidding. I'm German too.
Oh.
I'm Egyptian and German, so
Is the on that 1963 one were they still using the type of upholstery like interior upholstery that they use for lampshades like in the 40s?
No, what is it? Okay, go on.
So here is Alyssa Milano. I don't know if we did this one last week, but we'll do it again anyways because I like this one. This is
It's
good.
fair use, right? So we can play it because we're criticizing it.
Yeah.
Critiquing it.
It's not a video. I couldn't get the video, but
TikTok, right?
yeah. So my thoughts on Balencio hashtag TikTok. All right. So that's that. The next tweet is where the jewels is. This is just the building up to the story. Everyone knows about the Balenciaga bullcrap stuff, and
A glimpse of it, but that's all I needed to know.
because she posted a video and she likes to talk about everything, and she didn't have anything to say about this one, and everyone just bagged on her, and then they all just, and I recommented again in this one. I was like, so how's your Nazi car? And no response back, so I'll let you guys know when she finally gets back to me. But yeah, if we can get to the tweet that was a response to this one.
Starting to wonder if there's a few missing here that maybe you didn't send over, because I've got that one, but after that it's your favorite other individual that the show is about tonight.
All right.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you maybe crossed a few wires tonight, but yeah,
I
so
don't
far
know.
I've got the 5.
All right. So the response to this one, we'll do this one, and then we'll get to the next subject. And while we're waiting,
I posted the video of a link to the video in the chat, the Alyssa Milano video.
okay.
Oh, you got it for the one we were looking for?
Or
For the-
no, not it.
For the Balenciaga?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's not this one. It's the tweet that is the response to Melissa Milano.
Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 sec here. I can probably get it up on the screen too.
While he's looking for that, did you want to play what she actually said for people that aren't familiar with it?
I think everyone has seen it,
Okay.
but yeah. So that's a spoiler alert to what we're going to talk about next.
These things happen, man. These things happen. For now, let me go ahead and just put you guys right here. Restore the YouTube chat real quick. I'll get it on up. Wasn't expecting
you.
a browser tonight, but yeah, go ahead and just shoot the stuff in the meantime.
So, Gringo Bandino, do you want to do a story time? Do you have a story, like a few minute story, something to fill in the space with your knowledge of fantastic, glorious stories?
Well, can you think of any that we've discussed previously that you want to hear right now?
Your Yelp
Refresh my
reviews.
memory.
Your Yelp reviews.
Okay.
What you sent in me is not in English.
Well, the video is probably.
Oh, you want me to show the video?
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
Okay. Give me another minute.
So, one of my friends, they own a family restaurant that I've been helping out with, and I think part of part of me helping out is my friend wants to be entertained on how I deal with difficult customers. So I was talking to Gary about this the other night, and I kind of have developed a little bit of a cult following on the Yelp reviews. So one example is somebody calls in an order, and they're ordering a Greek salad, and or excuse me, a chicken sandwich, and they ask what's on the sandwich. You know, okay, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, blah blah blah. You know, make the order. They come to pick up the order. Read back the orders to them. They go, "Yep, that's what it is." Give them their order, and then they go, "Oh, I didn't order a chicken sandwich. I ordered a chicken salad." I'm all, no, you specifically asked what was on the sandwich, and I said, "What kind of salad would come with mayonnaise?" And then he got, all upset or whatever it was. No, I ordered a chicken salad. I said, "Well, you got a chicken sandwich. Deal with it." And then that was the end of that conversation. And then about 15 minutes later, he left a nasty Yelp review. Oh, he refused to make a chicken salad for us, and I'm like, in the restaurant business, you'll come to see there's a lot of people, especially if it's depending on the area, where they play games so that they can get free food. They'll place an order. They'll say, "Oh yeah, that's what I want." They'll get the order. Then they'll come back 10 or 15 minutes later, complaining about saying something was wrong, even though you read it back to them when they were paying for the order, in order to hustle the restaurants out of getting free food. So another story. You got the Alyssa Milano ready?
Yeah, so you want me to just go ahead and play the video?
Yeah.
All right. Everybody ready? Here we go.
So ever since this horribleness with Balenciaga has started, right? I've been getting comments like this.
There's no sound.
And my comment.
Oh, it's on the stream right now. Are you able to hear the stream or?
Nope.
Hold on.
Yeah. If you bring up the stream and unmute it, you'll be able to hear it. Let me go ahead and rewind it for you. Just let me know when you're all tuned in and I'll get it up for you.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go.
See this? So ever since this horribleness with Balenciaga has started, right? I've been getting comments like this in my comment section on all of my social media. Let me explain something to you. Okay, we have got to stop asking women who might be triggered by certain things. We need to stop asking them to give their opinions on things that you should basically know our opinions on. Like, I've been an advocate and an activist for women's rights and children's issues my entire life. What the fuck do you think I think of the Balenciaga drama? I think it fucking sucks. I think they made a huge mistake and they're paying for it. But I shouldn't have to go on social media and tell everyone my thoughts on every single thing that happens culturally in the oppression and subjugation of women and children. You should just know by now. Okay? Thanks.
Well, she seemed a little full of herself.
Andy, is that what you're talking about what happens, like the ugly things that happen to women after pregnancy?
I still can't believe that's the daughter of John Matrix from Commando.
Yeah, she is in Commando. Oh my gosh, this chick is dumb.
She was the daughter of John Matrix. So
I still think she's fun at parties.
Just for her making that video,
she's invited anymore.
Just for her making that video, I'm going to
Did you
buy a
find the tweet
Tesla.
you were looking for?
No, we're just not gonna. We'll get to the main topic, which is, since the technical difficulties and all that stuff, we'll just move on to the topic. And I
It's
saw
hot
this.
tub with Andy time.
Oh, what
Andy's
up?
getting ready for the hot tub.
But the topic tonight is testosterone. And James Cameron decided to open his dumbass idea of a brain and started talking. And it's pretty much was saying how, what is it? It's testosterone is a toxin and we have to get rid of it. And I just feel that this guy has lost all concept of reality. He has here's the tweet that Critical Drinker has posted. And Avatar director James Cameron says testosterone is a toxin men must terminate from their system. James Cameron is an asshole, and he's an arrogant person. He was talking about in an interview about how he wish he couldn't do certain things in his career and pick different paths and everything. And I feel he is the simp of the week, where he wants to pretty much make guys not build up their testosterone at a young age. And because when you get older, you start losing testosterone 1%, 2% the older you get. And then Elon Musk decided to comment to Critical Drinker, is testosterone rocks, not gonna lie. It does. I think every guy should have testosterone. It is pretty much what makes men men. It's one of those deals that come with being a guy. And guys who don't have testosterone pretty much are a bunch of sissies, in my opinion. What do you guys think of James?
I only have one question: is when he said that, did he have a kind of a deeper voice, or did he sound like a 7-year-old?
He probably talk like this all the time.
I'm a
I
real
need to
boy.
make $2 billion for my movie.
Zoink, Scooby Doo. I mean, it's just like, I mean, obviously from a biological aspect, when you hear somebody talk, even if it's James Cameron or somebody who says that testosterone is a toxin, if he's talking in a kind of a deeper voice or something that sounds a little mature, you have to thank the testosterone that got him to that place. So it's I don't know
So
what he was going for.
I read something interesting in the article. Did you guys know the name of the studio chief when the first Avatar was originally greenlit? His name was Dick Cook. I didn't know that. Just thought that was an interesting name, Dick Cook, for someone that makes movies in Hollywood, or that greenlights them.
Called him Rich. Sorry.
No, it's Dick in the article.
Harry.
Dick Cook.
Yeah.
Studio chief Dick Cook, along with Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, in 2005, and then trying to share my screen here. I could pull up the quote for you guys, the full quote.
But any other guys, what is your opinion on this whole, you need to drain out, like you could drain your testosterone out, like it's, and I like you can just suck it out, like you can't. This guy's no scientist.
James Cameron's been married 4 times with a lot of different women that he's met on movie sets. I think we found a problem here that he doesn't want to be tied into a Me Too, and he's putting all this up as a smokescreen, doing his contrition so that he doesn't get entangled in anything. Look, the world was pulled out of savagery by testosterone. The world was civilized because of men with testosterone. Yeah, women play a big part in this. Women tend to be the thing that civilizes men. Women tend to be the thing that makes us control ourselves. There was a tweet today that I saw of this girl. She gets up and smacks somebody it's in Russian. I believe it's Russian. She comes and smacks this guy, and he turns around and hauls up and smacks her back and sends her flying across the room. And my response to the tweet was that, like, it's about time these women like this start showing the same restraint that most men show every day.
Right, that's true.
It's testosterone is not, it's not a problem. It's like Jordan Peterson has said that a weak man is not a good man. A weak man is useless. A good man is a strong, powerful, dangerous man who keeps that in check. That's what you need in the real world, because sooner or later something's going to happen where you need that. And if you're not prepared for it, somebody who is more aggressive is going to take whatever of yours that they want. That could be your family, your home, your life. Is your home, your life, and your family worth protecting to you? And you better embrace your testosterone, build it up, and do whatever you can do and whatever you need to do to make sure that you can protect it. Learn how to defend yourself, learn how to use firearms, and learn some basic preventative strategies so you can be aware of your situation, you can be aware of your surroundings, and you can avoid these problems. But if you walk around and you think that testosterone is a toxin, which is easy to do for some billionaire director who can hire security and only go to nice places and make sure that, like, you know, the riffraff doesn't come around him, hey, that's fine. But sooner or later, like we should have learned a couple years ago when, like, you know, during the whole summer of love, when all of a sudden you had to worry about, like, you know, who is going to try and break into my house? You know, who is going to look at my house and say, hey, look at that guy. He's got more than me. I deserve some of that. It's owed to me because, you know, it's not fair that somebody else has more than me. Going to come around, and you're going to want that testosterone there. And ladies, go to the gym with a guy and see who can lift more. You're going to need that guy protecting you. So if the biggest thing that he can lift up is like a soy latte, and he's and a strong wind can blow him over, and somebody insults him, his reaction is to go tweet about it, that, like, you know, oh, can't believe people, like, you know, these barbarians, and, like, well, guess what? When that wolf comes to the door, your ass is getting eaten, because there's not a damn thing he's going to be able to do to stop it. So think about that before you say testosterone's a bad thing.
Well, what
You
I
know,
find,
Andy. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Terminator 2, Sarah Connor does a voiceover, which today would kind of explain toxic masculinity. And forgive me, I'm going to read the actual voiceover lines. Watching John with the machine, it was suddenly so clear. The Terminator would never stop. It would never leave him, and it would never hurt him, never shout at him, or get drunk and hit him, or say it was too busy to spend time with him. It would always be there, and it would die to protect him. Of all the would-be fathers who came and went over the years, this machine, was the only one who measured up. In an insane world, his was the sanest choice. That quote today is amazing.
Well, you know, it really points something out. Okay, it points out two things. Number one, we have this huge problem in our country, in Western civilization as a whole, but, like, especially so in the United States, where people aren't, men aren't living up to the role as fathers. And there are reasons for that. Then you got guys, JRC here, who steps in, takes on all responsibility, and, like, that he doesn't have to, but he does. And that's the thing that, like, if you're a man, you should act like a father. Even if there's kids out there that you're not living with, that aren't biologically yours, or that are just part of a larger group, act like a father. Act like, you know what, you care about this kid and you want to guide that kid into something. There's
Yeah.
no kid that does not come back without fruit. That will bear fruit. And you don't know. You will look back at your own lives. Look back and picture some of the male influences that you've had in your life that have left indelible images on you. Do those men know that? Do those men know that, like, back when you were in high school, you had a teacher who left a really good impression on you that really taught you something? You probably don't know that. You probably think back years later and you don't even know if that teacher's still alive, or some guy you worked with, or something. A teacher or a instructor or something. You're that person to somebody else. You should be that person to somebody else. You should try to be that person to somebody else. So when you are out there and you see these younger guys, and they think that they're being, like, all, cool and stuff like that, and you take them aside, like, yo, you know what? Your buddies and stuff like that may think that, like, calling the girls names and stuff like that is a really good idea. It's kind of classless. Would you want somebody talking to your mom that way? Would you want somebody talking to your sister that way? That's not what being a man is. That's what you're going to be, a child for the rest of your life, or you're going to grow up and be a man. You say those things and you tell them to step up. Be the father, whether or not that kid needs it, whether he knows it or not, and you need it in your own growth, because you won't know what. There's a thing that, like, that having kids changes you in a way that you can't understand until you have kids. And you'll hear people talk, and you'll hear them say that, like, well, I'm close with my nieces and nephews. It's not the same. It's just like people that, like, anybody who's been married, they'll talk to people, yeah, well, me and my girlfriend live together. It's not the same. You get married, it's different. You have kids, it's different. But it will change you in a way. And if you pick up that responsibility to the kids that are around you, and you look to make that impression on them, it will change you for the better, and it will change the kid for the better. And that will start to stop some of this tendency of people to walk away from the responsibilities and think that, like, you have a responsibility out there, just because, look, God gave you the ability to be what you are. You've learned things. You've made tons of mistakes. Share that with people. You will put that out there, and at the end of your life, you'll get to look back, and you can look at people and you'll say, you know what? I made a difference in the world. I didn't just put, like, sexy pictures on the internet or something like that. So, yeah.
I was thinking of something. It was about earlier, but when we say, like, one of the things as a man with testosterone, what gives us an advantage for a lot of things when we do something brave. Like I think I brought this up. Either it was on the first episode or something. There's a psychologist. His name is Dr. Emerson Egritz, and he runs a program called Love and Respect. And one of the things he said is that the amazing thing that guys have the capability to do is to compartmentalize their emotions, which is true. We can stow our emotions, and, like, if we need to go in and do something, we can, like, for example, he brought up 9/11, how it was natural for the women who were bringing the kids. They had daycare in the World Trade Center, and the women were bringing and backing the kids away from the danger, while the men just stowed it and just went in. And that was a good point. But as far as, like, when it comes to like if testosterone is a toxin or something like that and needs to be drained, I saw this on Twitter, probably it was like several months ago, but it was a picture of a supposed father who used his own daughter as a human shield during an indoor bicycle race or something like that. It was in England, and they didn't have a video of it, or there was a slight video. Do you know what I'm talking about, Andy?
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this father, I couldn't confirm it, but people took some still shots, and this guy, bicyclists were coming around the corner. They got they came in for a crash. They were going over the rail, and you can see in these stop motion pictures, this guy is lifting up his daughter in front of him while the bicycle is crashing right to him. And I'm like, if you want to talk about, there's an example of like less testosterone or something like that, I would, if that was truly that father, if that was his daughter, if that was his daughter right there and stuff, like for me as a father, I would have never done that. If anything, I would have taken my kid and I could have even thrown him behind me, like if it was my son or something like that,
I would say that, like, if all we've seen is a still picture, I didn't see any live video.
Yes.
It's a possibility this guy could be trying to get his kid out of the way, and somebody takes a picture, and it looks like he's doing that. So I would. There's a possibility that might not. Yes, it's very possible both ways. It's very possible, especially when.
What if he didn't like the kid? I mean, I'm asking an honest question. I don't believe you can't tell me that 100% of parents love their kids and can't, like, I mean, kids are great, but everybody's been in a public place, whether it be a store or a movie theater, where kids act like a piece of crap. And that you wish that the parent threw them over the rail or something like that. So imagine being around that same kid that doesn't listen, doesn't behave, talks back, just miserable to be around 24/7, and it's your kid, so you can't. Let's say you could get rid of them, but I would not recommend that.
It's like Batman fighting.
I say get rid of them. I mean, you could potentially give your kid up for adoption if you wanted to. I wasn't. I would
You're gonna make me a lot of money right now.
Oh, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. Are we still on YouTube? Are we still on YouTube?
Yeah, we're still.
No, I didn't say anything bad. It's just an honest question. I mean, there's got to be some parents that can't stand their kids. I mean, it's just
there absolutely are, and it's if you have more than one kid, you probably do have a favorite kid. Now, you're not going to do anything to harm, but it is like the Batman with Liam Neeson, where I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either. So you save the one you really like. Yeah, and I say this half jokingly because I used to tell my stepdaughter, who's, God, what is she now, 24, that I would step in front of a bullet for her. But damn guarantee if I lived, I would never let her forget it, and I would joke about it every opportunity I fucking had to do it. Because that's what you do.
Wow, you could milk that for years.
Oh my God.
You know about that bullet that I took for you? Yeah. I want a house.
Speaking of Batman, you could go around saying, "You know how I got this scar?"
Funny story about this. So we were in Universal Studios, not Universal. It was SeaWorld's water park, and my son was probably like 7, 8 years old, and they have this. It's like a lazy river. It's called the theme park's Aquatica, and it's a great water park. They got this lazy river, but it moves pretty quick.
The prequel to Avatar?
It moves pretty quick, and my son, he's like, he's being a typical boy, and he's like pushing his boundaries, and he's like, and he starts moving up, and he's like, he turns and looks back, he's like, look how much farther I am than you, and he's not looking where he's going, he's headed right for the wall of the thing. So I dive down and swim up, a couple of strokes, grab him, push him away from the wall, and my back goes up against the wall, and I'm not thinking anything, and my wife says to me, "Hey, dummy, what'd you do to your back?" Because that's all the affection. I don't know, maybe I might have scratched or something like that. No, you're bleeding bad. Well, here the water jets that were coming out of there were so strong, it ripped my skin this big gash across my back. and I'm like trailing blood behind me. So but it's funny. All I could see was in that second,
Did you
like,
yell to everybody that you had AIDS so you can get cut in line like Danny DeVito?
well, it was funny because what I did was I get there and I'm like,
Always in Sunny in Philadelphia reference. Sorry.
yeah, I get this thing, like I get out and so I go finally find a first aid station. They put this big ass square bandage on my back, which like led to like the goofiest tan line in the world. But in that moment, all you can see is your kid, headed for the wall there, and I grabbed him. So I emailed him and said, look, I'm not looking to sue or anything like that. I just want you to know, like, I mean, if it was my kid that got ripped open by this water jet that's too strong, because there's nothing around it to stop it, like, then I would want to change my name to Anheuser-Busch or change the name of the theme park to me. But it was just me. Like, I don't want somebody else to get hurt on it. But
About time Bush got a mention on the Man-O-Rama show.
Here, here.
But that's the thing. Like, so I got a big scar across my back, and I will, of course, my son's like, I will. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like when you see something coming at your kid, you will jump in the way of it. You will, and without even a second thought, you'll be like, oh crap! Like, let me, wrap myself around him and shield him a little bit. But
I believe our local Gringo Bandito wanted to share something with us. All right, take it away, Mr. Bandito. You wanted me to go ahead and show this, right?
Yes, please.
All right, let's fire it up.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year,
Is this a
Nick,
reference to
JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy. Oh, 9/11. Don't laugh at 9/11 again. I tried to tell him not to laugh. Adam. I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan.
It would have been more relevant like 10 minutes ago. I thought of it when JRC mentioned 9/11, but that's okay. Never have enough.
I was wondering what relevance it said. I thought this was going to be like a testosterone.
Never have enough Norm Macdonald, but that's okay.
That's a hit and miss.
We'll work the kinks out.
Yeah, that's a swing, miss, and explosion in the distance.
All right, everybody.
Hey, hey, look, all I have to say is long live Lieutenant Yaphet. Right, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so. He's doing great, by the way, on the ship. So
awesome. I got it set up now. Yeah. I didn't think we would ever use a browser, so... Well, now we have that all set up, and now that's fixed, and if we ever want to show stuff, it can be done in seconds, so we're all good on that now.
And Gringo Bambino 2.0's here.
Oh, that's way.
Should I be worried?
You look familiar.
Are we still talking about 9/11?
No.
No.
No, we're talking about hashtag renew the Orville. Orville Nation, if you're out there.
Real quick.
We already talked about Sandy Hook.
Yes.
No, we are not going to do that.
And goodbye, YouTube channel. Anyway, I still have not seen any of the Orville.
Talk about it. I said we're not going to talk about it. I didn't say anything negative. YouTubers.
Anyways.
YouTube censors.
You see, Chrissy Mayer put a thing up there. Says, my stripper name is Sandy Hook.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Sandy Hook is actually Santa Claus's mistress.
Sandy Cheek, SpongeBob.
Mm-hmm.
I did a...
Anyway.
I started his favorite stocking stuffer.
I started a hashtag Stripper Lives Matter.
That's a movement I can get in front of, behind, and on side.
What's your guys?
I'd buy that for $1.
What's your guys' favorite stripper stage names?
Oh,
besides chlamydia.
Candy pole.
A lot of vagina.
Cherry top.
No AIDS.
Pretty much
Magic
any
Johnson.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is what testosterone does.
Alrighty. Well,
Tangent level 5 achieved.
So back to the
Bingo.
James Cameron article that I thought we were going to talk about. Do you guys think that this is a attack, like some type of PR play to kind of save face in case the movie doesn't perform well at the box office? Because if you look at the context, if you could look up the context of the statement, it's kind of basically saying like he was full of testosterone. Maybe you can compare it to like full of piss and vinegar, like when you're really young, you know, like men in their younger ages may be more aggressive and immature as they develop, you know, like high school, college years, as they learn how to harness their masculinity the proper way, you know.
Well, it's a kind of a combination of a lot of different things. I don't think it's a PR. He's trying to save grace or anything. Yeah, this is a $1 billion bet. It's gonna fail. It's very just.
I don't think so.
Well, this is why Avatar 2 is gonna fail. Is because they just re-released this movie for the 4th time, and they didn't do really well at all in this re-release Disney said it got re-released to promote Avatar 2. No, it got re-released because Top Gun Maverick was making so much money, and James Cameron hates it. He wants to be the number one of everything because he was so butthurt by George Lucas making Star Wars. That's literally the whole thing. He has this ego side.
I don't know. I think maybe it's a combination, but I figured no matter what, they would re-release Avatar before Avatar 2 just because it had been so long, like 13 years.
Well,
that's like 13 years. There's kids that weren't even born yet that could watch it now and be like, whoa, that's a cool movie.
Well, yeah, no, it's
a 10-year-old or 12-year-old.
I do see that side, but you also have to look at it. When Endgame came out and it beat Titanic, he brought out Titanic so he could beat Endgame. He has an arrogant side. He's narcissistic. He hates losing, so he's going to do everything possible to be number one. And his movies recently are garbage. He's visually fantastic. He knows how to get visually, but this movie, no one cares about this. It's very much global warming, climate change. It's very much a ploy. He said this movie is going to be about climate change and about some other thing that's woke and everything. It's definitely a propaganda movie it's gonna fail. And he also said he goes, I don't think I'm gonna make another. If this movie fails, I'm not gonna make any more after the 3rd Avatar. He's already bashing his own movie he's making, and it hasn't come out yet. I'll make it.
Why don't we go around the panel and take a prediction what this movie's gonna make?
Ooh.
Like
globally,
overall?
Overall, not domestic, globally. Like I say, it's going to pull in at least 2.2 billion. That's my prediction. The reason I say that is because there's so many garbage movies out there. You know, so many garbage movies, and so many there's very, very few movies that you can take your family to. I mean, Disney has lost a lot of confidence in a lot of parents because of type of stuff that they sneak into their movies, you know, trying to promote different types of sexuality and inappropriate stuff to young kids. It's just ridiculous. And no parents want that. They want to be able to trust that if they go see a Disney movie or any type of movie that's catered to kids, that's going to be age appropriate. And I think that with this movie, kind of similar to Top Gun, I think it may have some legs and rewatchability because it is catered for families. There's nothing else in the box. There's nothing else coming out that I'm aware of that at least in the next month or two, maybe till February or March, that is going to be like a really big family movie draw. So that's just how I look at it. I say 2.2 globally. That's my prediction.
The movie also is the second movie is going to be about colonization, and it's gonna push that whole. You're muted, buddy. You're muted.
I was just going to say how much I love colonization. It's in my blood. I feel like I'm natural at it.
But this is why I say it's going to make probably about 800 million globally. Is Disney does not have a good track record. They've actually are losing more money, and most movies that come out don't make a profit. They don't. It's. I don't think it's going to have the Top Gun Maverick leg that a lot of people might think it does, because it's taken how many movies that are 12 years old that get a sequel that do really good. There's not many. Look at Zoolander. That didn't do so good. You're still muted.
Yeah, look who's muted now. Sorry.
Give you my prediction. I think it will, with it, because I believe it is being released in China. I think they'll hit the 1 billion.
China.
I think they will absolutely bomb on merchandising. But the one thing I haven't heard anyone discuss, and I'm curious, and I haven't done any research on it yet, but now that I'm thinking about it, I want to. What kind of computer game tie-ins? Because visually, this new Avatar, especially with the trailer, looks amazing. It might be something that plays well in the video game market that could increase some of their profits. But
I'm talking strictly box office, but I agree with you in that sense.
box office, I think they might get over 1 billion, but barely.
Yeah, I don't know about the video games. I have to imagine that you got a video game for it tie-in. I don't remember if they did for the first one. I think they did, but I know they had a porn parody for the first one, so I'm pretty sure they're probably working on a sequel for that.
It's called Ferngully. But
for research purposes.
So the second Avatar is predicted to make 135 million opening. To me, that's not good. It'd have to make 200 million.
We know what the opening of the first one was, because I know it was in the theaters for like 4 months at least.
I can look that up right quick.
But, so you think it's only, Steve? You think it's only going to make 800 total globally, like worldwide and domestic?
Yeah, somewhere around there. It could, if it hits 1 billion, it's going to get a little bit over. But I think a lot of people are now realizing that they don't want this propaganda of woke push in their face. Look at Black Adams. Look at Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That was pretty much just shoving in your face, just racism across the board. Look at anything that Lightyear. I'm bagging on Disney because they're pioneering this whole entire thing where it's a lot of people don't want to see it. Look at Bros. That failed.
I'm curious to see how woke this actually is when it comes out.
He said it's going to be pretty much about colonization and climate change, and a lot of people are getting tired of that. It's just
so 2010s.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I wish that James Cameron would do something original and maybe do like a 3D movie about slavery.
I was going to say I don't think that I think I'm with you, Steve. I think it's going to hit like maybe 800 million. If it does hit over 1 billion, that's probably going to be the maybe any kind of streaming services or any kind of royalties after it's been removed from theaters.
I think it's going to. It'll probably do 1 billion because number one, there's a dearth of anything else coming out. There's nothing really coming out that's like it's a big budget kind of thing until February. So they're going to have the lead up until Christmas. It's going to have no competition. Plus, it's probably going to get a Chinese release. It's the kind of thing that it's a visual spectacle. So all you have to do is you can put this thing on any screen anywhere in the world. So you're going to get Indian viewings. You're going to get Chinese viewings. You're going to get South American viewings. You're going to get American viewings. You're going to get a lot of people that just want to go out there and see something like flashy on screen. Are they like thinking about like see people like they like to talk about all this climate change stuff and things like that. It's like, and they get people kind of numb to it. So there's like, most people just kind of think of climate change stuff as like the government's just going to do it anyway, and they don't really fight it or whatever. And well, but nobody really thinks about it. And evidence of that is like, if you go out to a Walmart like 9 o'clock at night, at least around where I am, you'll see the filthiest parking lot in the world, and that's from all the Walmart customers that just opened up their car doors and dumped their trash out. Because pollution isn't the problem. The problem is the polluters that nobody will call out, that are the scumbags that throw stuff at their car windows they're driving along, people that won't even use a trash can, people that just toss their crap out everywhere. People that their trash falls over and they don't pick it up if the trash men didn't get everything. Those are the people that cause the problem. The ones that go when you see all the activist protests and let's face it, the only protests that happened were the Tea Party protests. That the place was cleaner than it was when they got there. You see all these other people. It looks like World War III happened because they're just freaking slobs. And these are the people that are out there telling you how much they care about the climate. No, they don't. So they're not paying attention to the messaging and stuff like that. They don't care about the messaging. They want to see the pretty blue people. And, and this is a bunch of crap. It's really kind of shoots them in the foot where you have to see yourself represented on screen, because I didn't notice any fat blue people on there. There's no and there's no ugly blue people. They all happen to be really pretty and optimal looking. So I think this thing is gonna have some staying power. The ticket prices are more expensive now than they were when the last one came out. Yeah, the last one did a whole bunch of very expensive 3D viewing, but ticket prices are expensive. It's going to have a long staying period in the theaters, and Cameron will arrange that this thing will probably stay in theaters till about March at some capacity. So I think you're going to have a good 6 weeks of solid viewings of this thing with no competition. That's here, that's in
I
China.
bet it beats
that's all over the
Wakanda
world.
Forever.
Well,
Yeah, it definitely will.
Wakanda Forever is hampered though, because it's not getting a Chinese release for
It's a
unknown
Black
reasons.
Panther movie without Black Panther in it.
Well, that's part of it too, but Chinese people have a discriminatory thing in China that happens, and it's sort of that's going to affect your box office. That's why they when they released the original Black Panther in the theaters, it's
Are you talking about the Chinese Black Panther movie poster?
Like for example, they didn't have Chadwick Boseman on the movie poster. When they released the Star Wars movies, they made John Boyega really small.
Yep.
But, I don't know how they could possibly do that, since Disney's all about diversity and inclusion. So I don't know. It must have just been a mistake.
Well, that's because Disney's all concerned about that green color instead of instead of the they assumed that there was going to be that virtue signaling people would actually translate to money, and it hasn't, because these people they're the ones that they're all anti-capitalist while they sit there on their MacBook and have their Starbucks, and it's like these idiots are going around gluing themselves to these paintings to stop oil, while they have their smartphone there that's made of a lot of parts that are plastic. They're just stupid, and it's and all they're doing is oh, look at me, look how wonderful I am, I'm better than everybody else. So yeah, I think this thing it'll break $1 billion, just because they're going to make it break $1 billion. They're going to make it succeed.
To jump in there, when you're talking about maybe the Chinese sales, I mean, when you think about it, Zoe Saldana's character and stuff, they're not going to show her true skin color. So
since she's blue, so it doesn't matter.
She's blue, exactly. So they're not going to. So they don't have anything to worry about.
I don't think she knows her true skin color at this point.
Well, I sent something to Doomcock about a week or so ago. I don't know if he's investigating, so if I'm stepping on some of his toes, I apologize. But I've seen this a couple different times where the Disney rules for airing Avatar is actually a little stricter and a little more favorable to them. And this
You get
one
65% of the money too.
ticket sale. Yes, and like if you're a single stage, single viewing theater like the town I live in, our theater is actually in the town hall, and it airs movies on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night one time. So if they're mandated to play Avatar for 3 or 4 weeks in my town, it's going to be empty after the first weekend. But they're going to be mandated by Disney to air second week, maybe third week in this case. Now, in larger cities, that might play okay, but what are the rules that they're going to enforce or try to enforce with what gets played, and how much will that add, or will it add anything to the box office? I'll be curious, not on the first week, but the second week, the retention rate based on word of mouth.
The interesting thing that I just saw is opening weekend in 2000, what was it, 2009, the opening weekend for the original Avatar was $77 million. And this one is predicted to make at least double that opening weekend. So
what's the variance ticket price?
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. They did a study.
They never bring that up. I mean, obviously that's not good for marketing purposes, is if they talk what they're making adjusted for inflation, because then Black Panther will probably be about 50% of what the original one made.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did.
What they should do, if they want to be a real transparent and honest, which they never will, is how many actual tickets were sold. Forget about the price of the ticket. Forget about the total box office revenue. How many actual tickets were sold? I don't know if you can find that information. Maybe I've never tried looking before.
I don't know, but I know that they did so after Top Gun Maverick, which is still in theaters, which is astounding, and they did a study on this, a poll, and they found out that more people, because they noticed a lot of Lightyear was failing, a lot of comic books were bombing at the box office, and because people were focusing on what it was, the big numbers, rather than taking the market, whatever the marketing price was, and adding that in and then times it by 2 or 3. That would be your actual number. And they found out people were more interested in real-time, realistic, moral consequence type stuff, like the Terminal List, Top Gun Maverick, and Tulsa King, Yellowstone, all those things. And no one really cared about fantasy, comic book movies, or anything, because it's kind of gone. Like Spielberg was right. It's gonna go the way of the Western films, and that's what's happening right now. So that's what I have to put that, my thought of Avatar 2 is going to make about 800 to 850 worldwide, because no one really cares about fantasy stuff anymore, because it's become this propaganda politicalized thing. Comic book movies are never meant to be that. They're supposed to be an escape from realistic things. And that's, you know what? I'm willing to do a bet on this show right now with you guys. And whoever gets the close, I don't know. We'll come up with a bet. I'm down for that. If you guys want to do a bet on that, the loser has to do something on the show. That would be fun. I think we should do that. A little bet.
Or maybe the winner gets a bottle of good whiskey.
Yeah. Winner would get a bottle of whiskey or something. I don't know. But, or drink of their choice or something like that. Scotch. I think that would be interesting. I'm totally down for that if you guys want to do that. Let's do it. We'll come up with something if you guys want to.
I'm game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know Tony Stark is. He'd be like, I'm in. Sorry, we can't hear you.
I will go on the record 1.125.
I'll say for 850.
I'm going to go around 925.
Ooh.
Actual retail price. Sorry. Yeah.
I'll say 2 billion.
2 billion?
Because I remember everybody trashing Titanic before it came out. I remember everybody trashing Avatar before it came out. He was 2 for 2 with those.
Well, Titanic
they
made
made-
that much money because all the guys were like, "Hey, if I take this chick to see Titanic, I'm gonna score tonight." That's what it was.
A fun rumor.
What was the last James Cameron directed movie that bombed?
I can look that up right now.
Just I don't know. I
Challenger
don't know
Deep.
the answer. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sorry, but what was
Actually,
the
I was
last
going to
James?
say. Now I understand why. Actually, I just realized why Avatar's on the way of the water, because I think probably the only thing that bombed was James Cameron when he did his Challenger Deep movie, which I did see. It was pretty fascinating, but he did do the Challenger Deep
Yeah, but
movie where he
that's a documentary. That's not meant
I know,
for
so it
mass
bombed.
audiences.
Yes.
Oh, I'm talking about like a movie, like a
Yeah,
documentary.
no.
I don't view as the same.
I can't think
I
of
mean,
anything.
I'm not sure, but didn't True Lies kind of underperform, or it didn't perform enough? Otherwise, they would have made a sequel. I mean, I love that movie. That was an awesome movie.
Oh, it's an awesome movie, but you got to remember back in the day, that's when people were really like up on trying to make sure they were making a good story and not trying to preach anything. And
Yeah,
it was just a classic action flick. It's a Schwarzenegger film. So yeah, another classic action film.
I think it's
But I
more
will
of a
say
Tom
this.
Arnold film.
I will say this: when Avatar came out in 2009, it was one of the last movies I saw before I went to boot camp. But it was only the movie I rewatched once. The one that I watched the most back then, for 4 to 5 times, was The Book of Eli. So that was an amazing movie.
Douchebag Kylo is asking if you're talking about opening weekend or total box office take.
Total box office take.
Total. Overall.
Here's the thing: if it makes less than Top Gun 2, Tom Cruise is the king.
Well, I mean, look, one of the things that Top Gun Maverick has had going for it is the length of time it's been available in the theater, and it also has going for it that there was crap to watch next to it. It was literally like bad movies or that, and it's a great movie. Now, Avatar is going to come out, and there's absolutely nothing coming out around it. There's nothing that's going to be. The next big thing that's coming out is going to be Quantum Mania, and there's Marvel fatigue. So even when Quantum Mania comes out, there's probably still going to be people that are, because if there's a romantic element in this thing, which I think there probably will be, like the ladies will like to see it. Paul Rudd with his shirt off isn't going to bring in the same females as Chris Hemsworth or Jason Momoa with his shirt off. So that's going to be
the last Ant-Man movie didn't do too well either.
Well, yeah,
and that had
and this one
that had the benefit of leading into Endgame too. So I agree with you.
Well, this one he's got like this has their perfect formula in it because it's got one man and 3 women as the leads. So it's got, because you have Wasp, you have Michelle Pfeiffer's Wasp, and you also have Ant-Man's daughter, who's going to be like the bestest ever. She's going to be brilliant enough to figure out all this stuff. So that's seriously going to underperform. Like we've got the news about Marvel restructuring their things going forward into better quality movies, because like every single thing that they've put out over the last year has drastically underperformed. They don't have anything they can point to that came anywhere near what their expectations were. So there's every likelihood that, like, it's like Jaden's Mangold getting all butthurt about the predictions about Indiana Jones. Well, look at Lucasfilm's track record. When you've done nothing but bombs and people are saying this is probably going to bomb, like, how dare you say that? Well, we have evidence on our side. Chances are this next Marvel project's going to bomb, and that's what's going to happen. So, like, I think Avatar, all it has to do is just be entertaining and non-offensive, and the people, like, and as long as it's not like, it's not preaching to you that, like, it's a metaphor. It's like, there's an analogy going on. It's not a direct thing, like, pointing at you people are all rotten and terrible. It's like, oh, look at the bad guys. I like the blue people here. And it's like far in the future. It's just like, look, you watch Aliens, and it's like there's the evil corporation. You don't
Anybody
tell.
notice in Avatar there's no bicycles? I just thought that was strange.
The crazy part for me is Steve's prediction of 800,000 or thereabouts, and yours of over 2 billion or right around 2 billion. Honestly,
I think it'll at worst break even or make a profit, and I think it'll beat Maverick.
And
it's going to bring a lot of normies out.
If it's a decent story, word of mouth will be incredible because, like everyone else has pointed out, what else is there playing? Everyone is so sick of this, and this that if they can just get something middle of the road with a decent story and the visuals that you know are going to be part of this movie, you'll hear good things. So while I don't think it'll hit 2 billion, I honestly can see if it's not a shit storm that the range that we're offering is all in play, and that should be something Hollywood and everyone else should be striving to look at, going, we don't fuck this up, we're making money. And they don't realize that.
Well,
Well,
if what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, well, and also it's not only the, it's like, you got Marvel fatigue, but you also got people who are streaming fatigue. I mean, a lot of movies have been coming direct to streaming and people want to go out in the theater. So it gives it technically gives it an edge. If Avatar 2 is going to be the only one that's in the theater and there's going to be no direct competition to that, you got people who honestly just want to go to the theater, like, for example, the wife and I, sometimes we just want a date night and we're like, we don't care what's playing. We just want to get out of the house. Somebody watch the kids.
So what you're saying is you're going to go see Spoiler Alert with your wife.
No, we're actually looking forward to John Wick 4, both of us. So
I want to know who the sponsors are for Spoiler Alert.
Oh,
is it like adult diapers and butt babies?
It depends.
That's true. That's a good point.
It depends.
I think with Avatar 2, I think there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be a great viewing experience as far as technical aspects and just watching it, and seeing the action and the special effects, especially the 3D. I mean, I remember opening scene when I went to watch the first one in 3D when they're in that hangar, the space aircraft hangar when they were going to that planet, to Pandora.
Well, here's another.
It was so immersive, and I've never experienced a 3D experience like that before or since. So I don't know what they do differently, but maybe because it's specifically filmed for 3D.
Well,
it's just so immersive.
Here's a question: when was the last good 3D movie you saw?
Regular or porn?
Regular.
Is there a difference?
In this day and age, no.
Nah. Well, what was the last?
Right now with Hollywood, the acting quality is about the same. Say I give a little bit of the edge to the porn parody.
At least.
But what was the last?
The female actors in the porn parodies definitely seem hungrier.
Yeah, no, the Avatar was one of the greatest 3D movies I ever saw. I mean, honestly, I know it's going to sound like cheesy and stuff, but when you're talking about the opening scene, when he's waking up, it was really immersive. That the whatever like little moisture droplets that were floating around, you could see it, and I almost was like going, "Oh my gosh!" I actually put my hands up. I thought they were coming at me. They actually did it very well.
In a hangar, right? Like a big
spaceship
hangar?
They were in the spaceship, like the cargo kind of area where they kept everybody.
The guys were floating around, right? Working on the ships or something?
Yeah, but when he opens his eyes, you see the little droplets of moisture, you could see it so clear. And I literally put my hands up because I thought they were like right in front of me. Yeah, it was actually really good.
Well, here's another thing you have to think about is Avatar probably was. It's good in 3D, but when was the last time you watched it in 2D?
I think when it was on like FX, I might have watched a little bit of it.
It's terrible.
I enjoyed the movie. It's not the greatest story,
but when you watch the gimmick of Avatar is it's really good in 3D. He's gonna make it really good, like visual, and that's what James Cameron's good at is visually get people involved in seeing his movies. The problem is, though, if you watch in 2D, it's not that great. It's very cartoony. Then you start noticing the story a little bit more. Then when you watch it in 3D, you're immersed into it, so you're not really paying attention to the story as much. And also, a lot of people 3D, Hollywood is tend to get away from 3D because it's a gimmick for a reason. It's not that good. You have to spend a lot of money to make it. You have to do all these things to make a good 3D movie. Like for me, the last good 3D movie was Michael Bay's Transformer movie, because he actually did something that James Cameron couldn't figure out. There's a science to 3D. It takes probably about 2 to 3, 5 seconds, somewhere around there, for your eyes to adjust. And people, when they make 3D, they don't understand that. So Michael Bay's like, I'm going to make this movie a little bit longer because I'm going to make each shot extended out so you can view it a lot better and you're not going to get nauseous and everything. To me, that was the last good one, and I don't want to pay extra money.
Is that the original Transformers?
No, it was the one where the Chicago one.
Oh, I think that was like the second or third one. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't like it was that long, but he said there's a reason why I made it this long, because each shot is extended out a lot longer because your eyes are going to focus on it a little bit better. So once your eyes don't get a chance to focus on it and it cuts next to the next scene, and then you start getting headaches, you get nauseous, and you can't handle it. That's why a lot of people are like, we're done doing 3D because we can't do it right. It's never been done. It's never been matched to the science that Michael Bay did.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the interesting things that I found that, I was just thinking about this. One of the, I think Samsung, I actually had a Samsung 3D TV back in the day. And Samsung did an interesting way of where their 3D glasses weren't just standard glasses that like you got at the movie theater. They actually were powered, and they would adjust because they had like 2 frames of like panes of glass, and they were programmed to adjust. It could detect like which angle you were looking at, and it would adjust it appropriately. So you'd actually get, one of the things I saw was when I had this TV was, do you remember it was an old DreamWorks animation film called The Guardians or something like that. It was like with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. And they opened it up with Jack Frost. Yeah, Chris Pine played Jack Frost, or voiced Jack Frost. And the snowflakes were coming down, and we were all kind of seated around the TV. Everybody was at a different angle. And we, once again, had our hands up because we thought these snowflakes were coming toward us. But I think Samsung did that right. But man, was it dang expensive.
You mean actual snowflakes, not like the activist kind.
Yeah, no.
They get a snowball and they throw it at you.
So anyway, we were watching the snowflakes fall, and okay, I'm sorry.
So for next
what
episode,
kind of snowballs are we talking about?
Yellow ones.
Frosties. The big ones that roll downhill.
Next episode, we're going to talk about bros.
Well, you better go save it, you homophobe. Anyway, can I say that?
Can I
we've talked about a lot of things, and we're still going. But the problem that I think with a lot of movies now, with James Cameron saying it's toxin, testosterone is toxin, it's another pandering to the left and to all these things to bastardize men. And I think if you made more movies like Top Gun Maverick and like John Wick and even Bullet Train that doesn't have woke or isn't being propaganda or isn't shoving something in your face, it's gonna make money. We've seen it. It happens, and I think that when you attack men the way James Cameron did, and it kind of turns people away. It doesn't make me want to see the movie anymore because he's already targeted. Like when one of the guys on YouTube, I don't know, he called himself the Outlaws, whatever. He was saying how only Latinos should watch Andor because of it's had a Mexican or a Latino lead actor. It made me not want to see it because or Black Panther when they were saying only white people don't go see Black Panther, but give your ticket up. It didn't make me want to see it because it's already being pandardized, and it's making me as a person who's white, and even as a person of color, I have different races in me. Okay, wow, that's an innuendo right there. But anyway, it makes me not want to see it when people say these things that attack a certain race or anything. It's like, like I'd rather go see The Mummy or something like that, or it's just I'd rather watch a movie that I already have. It doesn't make me want to see it. So James Cameron saying this, it's like, well, you're already attacking men, masculine men. It's pointless. You're not a scientist. You're not a doctor. You're just a truck driver who gave up that career because you got butthurt that George Lucas made Star Wars. And so you want to outperform George Lucas on making things. Sorry, you lost anyways. That's my whole 2 cents on that.
Golf clap.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
I don't think that that Avatar 2 is necessarily be a good movie. I just think it's gonna be, since there's nothing else out and people want to go to the movies and want to get out
That's
of
what I
habit.
said, yeah.
I think I'm sorry, I stepped away for just a second, but I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people. And I don't think it's made for people like us. I don't think it's made for sci-fi fans. I don't think it's gonna reinvent the wheel. I think it's just gonna be a basic, like, it'll be the continuation of the romance story between Jake and Nefertiti or whatever her name was, and coming of age story of their kids. And I think that's what'll connect to a lot of normal low IQ people. There's at least probably 81 million people in America by themselves, that'll probably go see this movie.
All Biden supporters.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I look at the trailer, it looked almost pretty much like the same plot from Avatar 1. Now it's just with water.
It's moist.
Yeah.
I want to make it clear, like, I'm not suggesting this movie is not going to be totally woke and not going to crap on men and do all sorts of nonsense. I just think that because of the bunch of different factors which we've all discussed about no competition at the box office, and more so the whole, like, it's more than just a movie. It's kind of like an experience, because there's no other movies like this, where it's fully rendered, and they also do the 3D really well, where it's actually immersive. Even though it's, obviously not a mainstream thing with Hollywood wanting to do that because they can't do it right and it's not cost effective. But it'll be interesting to see how this performs. It'll be interesting.
Well, if they crap on men, Willow will be like, we've already done that and no one likes our stuff. 2 minutes in,
That's why I asked earlier. I wonder if this is some sort of PR ploy so that they can, when it bombs, they can be like, oh yeah, because people are sexist, or or people are, the right wingers trash the movie, and that's why it's not making as much. Some non-sex excuse, like like Disney likes to pull with all their movies that don't make a profit or bomb at the box office.
If it doesn't make money, they'll just blame white men.
The white men director who trashed 50% of the potential audience before the movie came out.
Like 50% of the world population, yeah.
Steve, wasn't there a couple more things you wanted to touch up on tonight? Few people?
Yeah, so we can pop up. So there's last thing, it will pop this up. I don't care if they see this. Whatever, come at me, bro. But there's a couple pictures I found of guys who need testosterone. And you can do the podcast one first. That guy.
Oh, crap.
This guy. This numbnut needs testosterone. And the other guy, Ethan Klein, needs testosterone.
This guy's just a troll. People keep falling for his crap. He's a garbage troll.
Well, yeah, but when you tell Joe Rogan that I don't need to be fit or anything, it's like, dude. But then the next guy.
Going full bore tonight, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Please be Gary Ambrosia.
This guy right here. This guy needs
Kidding,
a pump.
Gary. We wish you were here. We're kidding.
This guy needs testosterone. Right here. These two guys. These two numbskulls. Right
Who's
here.
the second guy? Who's this guy?
He's
above. Sorry.
no, but I can see the resemblance. It's Hassan Pike.
Oh,
So these guys are just a bunch
I
of
thought we already
betas.
talked about 9/11.
No, we did not. So, if you guys are seeing this show, go to the gym, start working out, get some testosterone. On that note, let's go around the table and plug some stuff in. Yeah. So, Andy, anything you want to plug in?
I was putting up my Christmas decorations, and I figured out last year where I put the elf on the shelf, and unfortunately, it was in an airtight container, and well, he didn't make it.
Well, hey, on the bright side, you could always talk to Jeff Dunham. I think Ahmed needs a friend.
I have an Ahmed.
Great.
Is that Jen Psaki?
You know, I actually have made a Jen Psaki action figure. I sent it to Chrissy Mayer. She's never done a proper unboxing video of it to us. It's a shame too, because I gave her a little podium, and on the inside of the podium, like you turn it around and said Kamala was here, like underneath it.
Does it wind up and then just go in circles repeatedly?
I'll circle back to that.
Gringo
Yeah, cue cards.
Grandino. Anything
Yeah,
you want to
cue
plug
cards
in?
and a little picture of Steve Ducey, like ripped in half.
The only thing I'm going to plug is my mouth.
Sounds good. JRC, anything you want to plug in?
No, I mean, it's good to be back, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Ho, ho, ho. Very good.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, anything you want to plug in?
Well, damn! If no one else is going to plug their shit, I'm just going to say I appreciate being on the show. Love all you guys, and every episode is always fun to do.
Oh yeah, I probably should do that. I just Laboratory of Mayhem. Any of you arch villains from Doomcock's stream? I just put up a link on there where you can order Doomcock action figures if you've been an arch villain or a legionnaire for 6 months or longer, so we know you're not going to defile the likeness of it.
And if you haven't seen it, it looks like an amazing work of art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy, are you going to make a Brittany Griner action figure?
Yeah,
I figure somebody's already made like the heroes of the NBA. So.
Team captain LeBron James.
It's like that Top Shot game, except it never makes a basket.
Or dunk.
So what is this, Space Jam 3?
Starring LeBron James, Kevin Hart, and The Rock. Failures. And
Brittany Griner and LeBron James now have the same hairline.
You know,
And
that
testosterone
whole
levels.
Brittany Griner thing, that whole Brittany Griner thing just really irritates the hell out of me. Like, years ago, there was a case where there was an American family in Indonesia, and their kid went and spray painted something, and he got caught, and he got sentenced to being caned. And of course, like, not my baby, you can't do it, like, and ended up like, oh well, and they gave him like 4 whacks with the cane. And I bet that kid probably never spray painted anything again. But
Yep.
that's the problem when you go, like, you're going to another country, and and this idiot was out there, like, bitching about how terrible the United States was, where she can get away with all this crap, and it goes to like Russia, where like they actually have consequences. And so what do? Like, oh, we just release an arms dealer somewhere, and
The
it's
Merchant
almost
of
like
Death. I love it.
Yeah.
it's almost like you hope that something happens, something terrible happens that can be traced back, like, to the release of this person, this criminal, and And we go, oh. And we look at, and I guarantee you, the first thing this idiot does when she gets back is going to celebrate by smoking a friggin' joint because it's legal here. Well, yeah, you did all this stuff, and the world's going to suffer because you were a freaking idiot and didn't think the rules applied to you. And that's the problem with the whole generation is they think that like, oh, there's no consequences to anything I do. Like, and you just have to understand, like, oh, it's okay for me because what? Like, yeah, yeah. If there's any justice in the world, like any karma. Yeah, I hope it gets served up to this bitch in spades.
So
You guys know what Brittany Griner's nickname is?
No boy, here we go.
Big boy.
The Merchant of Mediocre Mid-Range Jump Shots.
I was thinking,
everybody.
yeah. Well, that's for the fan. That's for the fan to decide. Yay!
In regard to what Andy said,
Get those sick. Burn her at the fucking stake.
yeah, just as a disclaimer, that is a sound clip from a show that is not insinuating anything. So you know.
So when all that story broke out, I didn't think we were going to get into the story, but here we go. So I've been to Russia. I filmed there for a month, and when this story broke out that this ding dong dingling ding idiot decided to get arrested by using a vape, a lot of my friends were like, hey, you went to Russia. What's going through security at Russia airport is? And I was like, buddy, if it's frightening. And I had like a beard down to here, scraggly. I look like a hobo. And even I looked sus. And people would I thought I was going to prison just trying to get back into the
I
States.
thought Gary was
man.
Vic the Brick Jacobs.
But it's right. When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and here we are rolling dice for stupid prizes. It doesn't make sense. This is like, it's stupid. Yeah. But on that note, every Thursday we have a show. The 22nd, I'm still debating if we're going to do an episode or not because it's getting close to Christmas around then. But we'll have an episode next week at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have more fun, more humor, try out new jokes. Who knows what's going to happen, what the topic is going to be. Bring up new Christmas movies that we like. But yeah, you could check out me on Twitter at Rancor Steve. This show, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Check us out, share. I don't care what you guys do. But thank you for all the support. Love you guys in the chat. Thanks for everyone on the panel for bringing their input. This was a very fun conversations and everything. So you guys have a good weekend and have fun. Be safe Christmas shopping, going through all that fiasco. And we'll guys see you guys next week. You guys have a good day.
Good night, everybody. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the viewers. We will go ahead and
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Night, everybody.